AI has been a hot topic way before ChatGPT, so way before November 2022. Back then, it was a niche product, but if you go back to 2018, 2019, the first testing tools were already claiming that they had AI in them. And if you go to Eurostar 2019 in Prague, it was in Prague, AI was the hot topic.
Actually, you already touched the point that I wanted to come up because I remember definitely the firstly was CTA that was released, and then next one was generative AI testing with generative AI, and the first thought and concern that I had was like, why we need two products related to AI?
It's a good problem to have, I would say. The technology is rapidly evolving. In our product, we try to stay a little bit abstract, so we try to stay a bit high level, so we don't have a lot of changes. But even at the high level part of using generative AI, it is changing. If we look, for example, what was included in this small chapter in CT-AI, how to test using AI, so testing with generative AI. Uh, we did not talk about multi-vision LLMs, for example, where you can just give a screenshot to the model and it will generate the test case. Today, it's one of the most used aspects of generative AI is to give of course, for graphical user interface testing, where you give screenshots, you even give videos recording of how you are using an application, and it will generate test cases for you. So
If you are not already familiar with AI, I think you need to get your hands into it to really understand its characteristic. What do you think?
and that's exactly
Abbas?
it. That's why we call them the hands-on
Yeah.
objectives. So we have the learning objective, and the part which is practical is hands-on.
Hello, everyone. I am Natia Sirbiladze, the lead of ISTQB Podcast Network, and today we have a session dedicated to AI testing and testing with generative AI. And we will have much more other episodes related to software testing. Therefore, if you have not subscribed yet to our channels, it's exactly the time to do it now. Before I will introduce my colleagues and the guests for today's session, I would like to speak about the podcast network initiative itself. It connects the local and the global QA communities together and to share more knowledge and to be up to date related to trends and to keep the list of the other podcast channels with us. And now I would like to welcome our guest for today's session, Dr. Klaudia, the president and co-author of CT-AI product at ISTQB, and Dr. Abbas, co-author of CT-GenAI at ISTQB. And today we are in Copenhagen, and it's quite cold here. It's cold, maybe especially for me. But it's also a very nice city, and I know that you have a very busy schedule here, and I would like to thank you for being here and devoting the time for this discussion.
No, it's a pleasure to be here and thank you for the invite.
It's a real pleasure. Thank you for having us. Yes.
I think it's logical that the first question will be connected with the start. Let me ask you, what was the trigger that led you to start and working on this particular product? I think, Claudia, maybe you can start.
Yeah, I can start. AI has been a hot topic way before ChatGPT, so way before November 2022. Back then, it was a niche product, but if you go back to 2018, 2019, the first testing tools were already claiming that they had AI in them. And if you go to Eurostar 2019 in Prague, it was in Prague, AI was the hot topic. So it was kind of naturally that it came to ISTQB. And if you look at that point of time, 2019, within the ISTQB ecosphere, we already had 3 different syllabi that popped up. So we had one coming from the Chinese Korean area, we had one coming from the Indian area, and we had one coming from Europe. And back then, I don't even recall, was it Olivier who was the president? I don't know. I think it was Olivier who said it doesn't make sense to have 3 syllabi in parallel running on the same topic. So let's get them together and develop our own syllabus. And that's actually what we did. So it was very hard work because, of course, all 3 syllabi owner were convinced that they had the best stuff in the world. But we finally got everybody together and released the current version of the CT-AI already in October 2021. So again, before Corona. Oh no, not before Corona, before ChatGPT. AI, as I said, was already a topic there. You had already several tools doing like test case selection and stuff like that. But Gen AI was not there yet. So if you look at the version 1 of the CT-AI, there is no large language models, there's no generative AI, there's no RAG, there's no fine tuning. That was still not there yet.
Okay.
So, for me, it's really interesting to see that it was already a valid topic, a very hot topic before even the entire ChatGPT thing started.
Mhm.
And people tend to forget that. They think I agree that the public perception of the entire topic changed since then, but it was already a topic before. It was already a topic before.
I totally agree with that.
So Abbas, what was the story in your case?
In my case, mm, as as Claudia said, so it all started in 2018, 2019, and my work was focused on using artificial intelligence to generate test data. We didn't have all this fancy chatbot thing where we can ask a model to generate this, whatever we needed for our testing tasks. We needed to go and implement the models, train them ourselves in order to do the specific task, the specific testing task. For us, in my case, it was generating test data. And then came along the CTAI syllabus. So the story was just said by Claudia, and we had a way of how to test the models that we were constructing, but not on how to use it for test cases. And the idea is in this CTAI syllabus, we have one chapter which is testing with generative AI. And while giving and teaching the person interested in this AI, they wanted to know more about testing with generative AI and how to do it correctly. Because today everybody uses a chatbot to have a conversation with it, and when you are using a chatbot to do testing tasks, it's a bit different. You cannot have the best results just chatting. Like a normal conversation, we have to do something which is called prompt engineering, and we wanted to dive a little bit inside of the correct techniques, how we can take advantage of this new technology which is rapidly evolving. So in 2021 we didn't, or it was just the start of the chatbots like GPT. We didn't have multi-vision models like we have today. It's a bit crazy what we can do today. We are now with those models, and we have to stay on top of this technology with the new syllabus testing with generative AI and not testing a model itself.
Actually, you already touched the point that I wanted to come up because I remember definitely the firstly was CTA that was released, and then next one was generative AI, testing with generative AI, and the first thought and concern that I had was like, why we need two products related to AI? And maybe I'm sure that our audience is also really interested to know like why we really have these two products. So Claudia, will be really nice if you can share to our audience the difference between.
Yes, most definitely, most definitely. So from the timeline, the CTAI was there first, and it was also the intention to give you an introduction to AI. So if you look at the content of the CTAI, I would say 1/3 is a general introduction to AI, which I think is very nicely written. So if you want to just get a smooth introduction, that is a perfect part. And then the largest part of the remaining is really how to test AI. So you're talking about the probabilistic nature of the system. It's non-deterministic. What do you have to do? Which techniques can you use? And that's what Abbas just said. One chapter, 1 out of 11 is about using AI for testing. And keep in mind that was released in October 2021, so way before ChatGPT, a year before ChatGPT. So we were talking about different ideas, how you could use it. And I'm 100% sure there were already systems out there that would do it, but these were all expert products and not in a ready to use way as it is right now. So the focus is definitely on testing of AI-based systems with a nice introduction into AI, into general AI. Then, of course, a little bit machine learning, but into general AI with a tiny little chapter on testing with AI. And with the upcoming of ChatGPT and all the chatbots, whether it's ChatGPT or BART or Gemini, Perplexity, whatever you want to call any Llama, Claude, whatever, the opportunities that arose in order to use it for testing just became bigger and bigger and easier to use. And now we need technologies for prompt engineering, how to get your personal project data in there. So we need prompt engineering, we need RAG, we need an understanding. I still think that people need to understand that the models hallucinate, that you need to check them, that not everything is correct. And then we have some more critical issues like resource consumption, energy that you need, and stuff like that. So I think the Gen AI syllabus really covers that. And we're currently working on the second version of the CT-AI syllabus, and we will take that little appendix, chapter 11, out. So with the new version of the CT-AI, it will be very clearly introduction and testing of AI systems, Gen AI testing with AI.
Okay, now it's much more clear.
Yeah.
Another concern that I had, and maybe mostly this is connected to generative AI side, is that to be up to date to the market, because recently and especially anything connected to AI is changing very fast in the world, and how we are gonna maintain all these things to be up to date and to keep everything according to the trends, according to the changes that is happening on the market. Abbas, can you share how?
Yeah, totally, totally. I understand the concern because uh, usually in ISTQB we update the syllabus on average, I would say every 5 years, and this is really too slow for a new technology which is emerging like generative AI. This is something which will change sometimes uh, in 2 or 3 months. We have new technology emerging, and it's the new way
Yeah.
as goes to do things, and we cannot update our syllabus every 5 years. So what we are doing in ISTQB, we have a product team which is dedicated to updating the syllabus at least once every year. And in ISTQB, how it works is we plan our meetings, we plan our work for the next year, the year before, and we are already planning to do a minor update to the syllabus for next year, and we are already planned also in 2026 to update the syllabus for 2027, and we are staying on top of the advancement of the technology. It's a good concern. It's a good problem to have, I would say. The technology is rapidly evolving. In our product, we try to stay a little bit abstract, so we try to stay a bit high level, so we don't have a lot of changes. But even at the high level part of using generative AI, it is changing. If we look, for example, what was included in this small chapter in CTAI, how to test using AI, so testing with generative AI, uh, we did not talk about multi-vision LLMs, for example, where you can just give a screenshot to the model and it will generate the test case. Today, it's one of the most used aspects of generative AI is to give of course, for graphical user interface testing, where you give screenshots, you even give videos recording of how you are using an application, and it will generate test cases for you. So
Yeah, and keep in mind that the syllabus has just been released end of July,
yes.
and we are already planning the next version.
Yes,
So there will be a regular update.
exactly. So we just released, and we are planning to have in February to start the new minor revision, so a minor update.
Okay, now I'm pretty sure that everything will be up to date and it will be relevant to the market. My next question is connected about recommendations. For example, if someone wants to take the exam of any this product, what would be your recommendations? Claudia, what you would like to recommend them? How to prepare for the exam?
Okay, the straightforward answer would be go to a training, because both syllabi, and that is also something that is special, have a lot of hands-on exercises. So we really put an emphasis on practical practical approach to the topic, that the people really have to try it by themselves. And that holds for both syllabi, perhaps for the Gen AI even more than for the CT-AI, but also for the CT-AI. We have lots of hands-on exercises. If you're just reading a book, or if you're just reading the syllabus, you're missing out on that. If you do it on your own, that would be an option. But I think given the fact that in order to, or let me formulate it otherwise, if you are not already familiar with AI, I think you need to get your hands into it to really understand its characteristic. What do you think?
And that's exactly it.
Abbas? Yeah.
That's why we call them the hands-on
Yeah.
objectives. So we have the learning objective, and the part which is practical is hands-on. So we have seen that from my experience, because the CTAI syllabus was there before the GenAI, we have seen that when the students or the people who are taking a training with the practical, they understand a bit better, not a bit even, a lot better. They understand more of the learning objective. When they use it, they get their hands on, as
Yep.
we call them. And we wanted to emphasize more on this. So that's why in the new GenAI syllabus, we have approximately 50% of practical exercises. So it's half of this. The learning experience is by using. And to respond to your question is, how can we make the syllabus or the exam more affordable, is actually to get your hands dirty, take the syllabus, read the concepts, and try them by yourself the way we intended you to try them.
Yeah. Thank you. You already mentioned the question that I wanted to ask for the last point, but anyway, it will be good to highlight about upcoming plans. You mentioned that there will be new release and new updates. So, if we can make a spoiler and tell what to expect our audience about CTAI and also generative AI products, like what to expect in the nearest future.
Yeah, so for the CT-AI syllabus, as I already said, we're going to take out the part on using AI for software testing, because that is now beautifully covered in the Gen AI syllabus. We will include a part on generative AI in general. We will include a part on large language models in general, how they work, so that we have that theory at least in there. There will be a part on prompt engineering. So the hot keywords that are on the market right now will be covered there, but from a point of view where they fit into the AI landscape. So that will be covered. We looked at the different test levels that you could have. We did some more work there. So we added 1 or 2 test levels, and we also worked on the risks that are connected and how you can counteract the risks. So I think some of the content there will be deepened. There will be more knowledge there. But as I said, the chapter 11 will go, and therefore we just added the concepts and principle and then worked on the process of testing it.
Huh? And for the generative AI syllabus, there's a big trend on going forward with agentic AI. So agentic AI is using LLM model in an environment where the model has tools to perform actions on your behalf. And this is something which is catching up quite quickly and has a lot of attention. And we already mentioned it mm, really at a high level in the syllabus. We want to expand on that, because today we are seeing emerging tools executing manual test case on your behalf without giving it any script. So those are all new technologies which are emerging. We have to see, we are following up closely on what is the state of the art of those new technologies. And we will see if it's necessary to add it, because that's the new standard in the market. We want people to know about it, and especially how to use it in the best way possible.
Actually, adding agentic AI, I think, would make a lot of sense, because it would be so beneficial to have one definition.
Yes.
Whether the agents are working on themselves, whether you have still that human in the middle or not. So there's already a lot of discussion going on. Yes. So it would be
To
beautiful.
standardize it, yes.
Yes, that would be
Totally.
beautiful already.
And we also speak a little bit. We speak about the risks. We want to raise awareness about the risk, and every day we see new risk with this new technology. We want to keep this part updated, and we're also raising awareness about the and the environmental impact of using generative AI, and not only generative AI, but using AI in general to do any task. So we want to raise those awareness, and if any new aspects come from this side, we will of course be adding it, just to raise awareness on the impact of using AI, not only in the environmental aspect, but also in the risk and how to mitigate those risks, of course.
I see a lot of work ahead. What I see.
I think for the Gen AI syllabus, from my point of view, the challenge is to keep it leveled because we don't want the training providers to have to redo everything. So the hope is actually that we now have a good product to start with and then have a minor update every year, not a major.
Yeah.
That is the plan. Let's see how it works out.
And for those who are listening to us, a minor update is a change of 10%
10%,
of the syllabus.
But if we do it regularly, the hope is that it will suffice.
Yeah.
So I would like to thank both of you for staying with me and be today. Even I know that there are so many other things that you are busy with your schedule today. And it was pleasure for me today to be your host. Um, I would like to wish you success in your plan and in your work ahead. And the audience who stayed with us, I would like to thank you for staying with us. There will be much more other episodes related around software testing with various directions. So stay with us and stay tuned, and you will get much more information. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you for having us on the podcast. Thank you.